And now that the USWA has been globalized, they have asked Max to stay on as the interim commissioner. And Max, I want to thank you. I understand you've accepted.
Yes, we have, Joe, and for all the wrestling fans around the world, this is a great opportunity for the USWA to go global.
All right, that's exactly what's happening. And Craig, we're going to talk a little bit about what it means for the USWA to now go global.
And when you talk about global, you're talking about stars from around the world. We've got some of them on the program today.
That's right. We will be seeing top wrestling stars literally from around the globe, because the Global Wrestling Federation, fans here in the United States may not be familiar with yet, but actually it's one of the largest wrestling federations in the world. They have top stars all around the world. Negotiations went on for many years to bring the Global Wrestling Federation to the United States. Thanks to Max Andrews and the USWA, those negotiations were successful. It's here, and we will be seeing, I'm looking forward to seeing Axel Rotten. Axel Rotten is the Commonwealth heavyweight champion, and I am told he is just one mean guy, and I'm looking forward to him. You have seen a gentleman by the name of Rasta, the voodoo man, who I understand is quite unusual.
He is a man that has some powers, we can say that. What negotiations it took to bring these stars over here.
Yes, and thank you all for being here tonight, because it is a good opportunity for the USWA. It went on for months and months and months, but the Global Wrestling Federation came to the United States to find the right group to take on as a partner, and we were chosen out of all the federations here in the United States, and we appreciate that opportunity.
I know that we're ready, and the fans here at the Global Dome are ready to rock. We'll be back with Major League Wrestling as we go to the ring. Going to be run. It gets underway today.
12 first-round matches, Craig. 24 of the most famous and the most talented wrestlers in professional wrestling will begin the tournament here today. Once again, 12 big matches, not all of them today, 12 big matches, 24 even bigger wrestlers start this tournament off for the GWF television title.
It's divided into 3 brackets. We will have 3 finalists. Those 3 finalists will go into a coin flip. The winner of the coin flip will go straight to the finals. The other 2 men in a playoff match. And there's a lot of conjecture as to who may get into that final.
It's all going to depend on the flip of the coin, Craig. Just a little flip like that could mean your career could skyrocket with that television title by just getting a bye into the championship match, or you could have to wrestle 2 more matches to get that prestigious belt.
We're ready to get the... Oh, wait a minute. Well, you called him the mouth that roared, and here he is, straight from his palatial estate in Louisville.
Get out of the way, Ugly. Get out of the way, Ugly. What do you want to talk to me about, huh?
I just want to know what your man Stan Lane has in store for us here in the tournament.
Well, I wish what Stan Lane had in store for this Global Dome is some soap and water, because it looks like a lot of these people could need some. I guess they hope the matches are going to run longer. That way they won't have to be out under the underpass with a cardboard box tonight. Let me tell you something. When we went to that competition committee with the Global Wrestling Federation, they said, we're going to have a TV title tournament. I said, that's fine. What Sweet Stan Lane wants, don't give him Joe Schmo. Don't give him some bum, some jerk. We want the biggest, the baddest, the roughest, the toughest dudes you got. We want the guy everybody's talking about, the one everybody says is going to win the tournament, and we want him first, right off the bat in the first round. We're going to break him just like a biscuit and then move on to bigger and better things, so that's who they gave us. They gave us the Patriot. Everybody says this guy is the next big thing in professional wrestling. Well, I'll tell you something, Patriot. You better hope and you better pray that you got your insurance paid up, because red, white, and blue is going to change to black and blue. After this thing's over with, we're going to be the TV champions. That's all I got to say to you.
The words of James E. Cornette, and when we return, action gets underway. Diaz against the Georgia All-Star television champion, Bad Boy Billy Black from the Badlands of Texas, one of the pre-tournament favorites, Scott.
I am very familiar with Bad Boy Billy Black. He is the Georgia All-Star Wrestling television champion, and that is no small feat. Of course, everyone knows the history of Georgia Championship Wrestling and Georgia All-Star Wrestling. Billy Black won a very prestigious crown down in the Georgia area, and he has to be the odds-on favorite, Craig, going into this tournament.
Going against a man who is very used to tag team champions, a man who is the world-class six-man and the world-class tag team champion, going against a man who's very good in singles and tag team competition, but we're talking about two men with one thing in mind. That is the Global Wrestling Federation television title.
We're coming at it from two very different angles here, Craig. Billy Black, pretty much a rookie. He's only been in the wrestling game about 13, 14 months. Brian Adias has a long history here in Dallas and across the United States, indeed across the globe, Craig, if you will, please. He has a wishy-washy heckle and jive. Let's try that one more time. Jekyll and Hyde attitude. And I don't know where we can trust Brian Adias. He seems to have gotten his act back together here in the Global Wrestling Federation.
The one thing you have to watch out about bad boy Billy Black is he has had a lot of competition in the Far East, as you said, over in Japan. And he has taken some of the moves and Americanized them, if you will. We'll take a look at those a little bit later if bad boy Billy Black can get out of the predicament he's in with Brian Adias.
I like to hear you say bad boy Billy Black 3 times very fast, and that gets kind of difficult to say week after week, but I don't mind telling you that Billy Black is an accomplished international star. He has several magazine articles about him every time he goes to Japan, and being in the Japanese magazines is a sure sign that you have made it in the land of the rising sun. Billy Black has done that. Billy Black, one of the most popular wrestlers in Georgia, and arguably one of the most popular newcomers in Japan.
Ironically, the fans here in the Global Dome not quite sure how to react to a man known as the Bad Boy from the Badlands. See, we're going to have a lot of tonight, but as we get into action once again in the ring, Brian Adias, a man who was a 4-time conference champion at the University of Texas at Arlington in football, dancing around a little bit, and now Billy Black finally getting a little bit of control here with a side headlock. Adias tries the escape, trying to power out of it, but a hair pull from Billy Black.
Oh, boy. Billy Black reverting back to his old ways there. Billy Black, a big change of heart over the last few months there in the Georgia area. Now, as he is in the Global Wrestling Federation, knows the only way he can win is to take those shortcuts. And I think that's bad for wrestling, but for Billy Black, it may be good. He's the favorite. He's taking those shortcuts. That's an arguably unbeatable combination.
Well, sometimes you fit the style to the situation. That's the case here with Billy Black. Now with a side headlock on Brian Adias. Back into the rope they go. To the rope goes Billy Black, the shoulder block. Off one time, gets him twice. No, Adias tries to pull the hip toss over and gets a count of 2 out of it from referee Sean O'Brien.
There's the experience factor of Brian Adias one more time, Craig. He didn't get hooked under Billy Black's arm to take him over for the full hip toss, but he had enough power and momentum to take Black on over and to get a 2 count out of it. That's experience.
If you just joined us, this is match number 1 in the television championship tournament of the Global Wrestling Federation. We've got 12 first-round matches. They're divided into 3 brackets. We'll have 3 finalists, a playoff match, and a final. But this is only the beginning of a great television championship tournament. Taking the backdrop, taking the arm drag, taking the drop kick is bad boy Billy Black getting tangled in the ropes. And Brian Adias says, I got it now.
Oh, my goodness, that is an attractive shot of Billy Black. You'll want to have that thing framed to put up in his living room, I hope. Billy Black through the ropes. Brian Adias really taking the measure of Billy Black now. The inexperience of Black showing through once again, Craig, as Adias letting those years of experience just wrestle for him in that ring, and he's got Black tied up for a 2 count.
Brian Adias began his career back in 1979. Has been wrestling in the Texas area, traveled to Georgia, won a national tag team championship in the NWA in Georgia during the early 80s. Now, it's bad boy Billy Black trying to take advantage here. Into the corner, will we see a clean break? Sean O'Brien has the count going, but Billy Black taking the shortcut once again with an uppercut to the chin.
And Billy Black now coming back, and whoa! A big super kick drops Adias in the middle of the ring.
Scott, you remember I was telling you about the Japanese moves, Americanizing them a little bit? There you see the savate kick, one of the first moves I'm sure we'll see.
Billy Black has a repertoire of wrestling, and there's a move I don't think has a lot of wrestling to it at all. The old punch right to the old jaw there.
That's from the Badlands of Texas, and now this is a very bad move from the man from the Badlands.
Well, Billy Black has a wide repertoire of wrestling moves he can use in that ring. He can come at you from any direction. He can use any move to beat you. And Brian Adias now feeling the brunt of the Black attack.
It seems that Brian Adias' vision is slightly less than 20/20, and now it might be a little cockeyed after that. Slam into the turnbuckle to the ropes because Brian Adias, 3 points. Billy Black falls down in the end zone. And Adias thinks that he's back in his days with the Mavericks from UTA. One more kick. I don't think he was a kicker, though. I think he was playing wide receiver at the time.
Well, he could have been a kicker on my team right there with a boot like that to a big man like Billy Black, and he brought him up off the mat.
The elbow. Oh, my.
Billy Black almost turned a complete flip in the ring, and here goes Adias to the top. This could be the end of Billy Black's very short attempt to win the global television title. Oh, he got his knees up.
The knees are up, and he's got a hold of the tights, but it's a count of 3. Well, we see why they call him the bad boy.
And the winner of the first round of the television tournament,
And now standing by, Joe Pedicino with Nature Boy, Buddy Landell.
Thank you, Craig. I am here with Buddy Landell, one of the top stars in the internet. Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. Thank you. Well, now, if I'm not mistaken, sir, there's already one gentleman who calls himself the Nature Boy. Oh, that's Grandfather Flair. I'm the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell, the man of the night. You see guys like this that didn't get an education, that's got to work for a living, that punching a time clock, nothing but a pig farmer and a hay baler. His old lady's sitting down there drooling at the mouth. I'll let you borrow a handkerchief in a minute, boys. Sit down, you're embarrassing yourself. Can we talk about wrestling? I mean, you're here in the Global Wrestling Federation. I know that you are a part of this big TV tournament, and I'm sure that you are looking at going all the way. Well, you said the words. You're sure, and I'm sure, too. That's why I'm here. And I'm here for the money to... Shut up, hay baler. If I want to out of you, I'll squeeze his head. You got it? All right. The tournament is going on. You're going to have some very tough opponents, and you're going to have to really work your way through the tournament if you're going to come out on top. Well, one by one, if I get the biggest thing I take in there is my ego, I'll slap the figure 4 on every one of them. I'm the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. Global's man for the 90s. That's right, I said it.
Craig Johnson along with Scott Hudson, and that's Randy Rhodes. I had to look twice. That's Sweet Daddy Falcone. I do know who that is. This, another first-round match in the Global Wrestling Federation Television Championship Tournament.
They do look an awful lot alike, Craig. I could see how you could get it confused in there, Randy Rhodes and Sweet Daddy Falcone. They have that...
No, I was talking about Randy Rhodes. He just looks familiar. I'm not quite sure what it is.
He kind of resembles the lead singer for Guns N' Roses, just a little bit there. I don't know.
No, that's Axl Rose.
I'm sorry. Pardon me.
And don't get him confused with Axl Rotten,
no,
who
wait,
we will see.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. Now, here are 2 young men in wrestling. Neither one of these men blessed with years and years and years of experience, but I don't mind telling you, I don't want to get in the ring with either one of them because neither one of them probably go to church, to be honest with you.
First of all, how does the man in the black tights and the blonde hair, Randy Rhodes, consider himself the hot body? With a body like that, I don't think he gets too many calls if he had a 900 hotline of his own.
Absolutely, but I tell you what, under those lights, anybody could be hot body. Me, you, Pedicino, anybody. Maybe that's it. I hope that's it. If he thinks he's got a body that people think is hot in that way, shape, form, or fashion, he is sorely mistaken.
Speaking of a man who is hot, we had an incident happen on Major League Wrestling that we're going to bring you up to date on as the popular Norman showed up. But we'll just have to let you see what happened when Norman showed up. Right now in the ring, James Beard says, let's have some action in the collar and elbow tie-up between Randy Rhodes and Sweet Daddy Falcone. Falcone slips it in to the side headlock, putting pressure on the temples of Randy Rhodes out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
The Global Wrestling Federation, a long history, Craig, as we've been talking about. all over the world, Japan, Mexico, Spain, Austria, England, you name it, they've been there. They're now in the United States, and we're happy to have them here. And I'm happy to be here, I don't mind telling you, calling this first Global Television Championship tournament as it occurs before our eyes. It's almost a religious experience seeing this occur for the first time, and we're here to experience it, Craig.
Well, it is a wonderful time here in the home of the GWF, the Global Dome. Glad to have you along with us and hope you join us each and every time we're here, right here on ESPN. Now, here's the side headlock now by Randy Rhodes. And the uppercut. Now, Rhodes taking some shortcuts. I know Sweet Daddy Falcone has a history of taking shortcuts, but now Randy Rhodes showing that the hot body could put on some hot moves.
I think I've got it, Craig. I've got it. Okay, hang on, I've got it. Randy Rhodes looks just like Dan Quayle.
I don't see it.
You know?
Anyway, the side headlock now. The other way, the reverse side headlock by Randy Rhodes. And now, I think he was looking to do an uppercut, sending Sweet Daddy Falcone towards at least the surrounding of the green. Looked like a little golf shot with a 9-iron. But that time, no doubt about that, Sweet Daddy Falcone with a big clothesline right out of the football league.
I took the big man right down on his back, and I'm going to work on who this guy looks like. It's coming to me. It's coming to me. My mind's racing. It's going through my menu on my computer program up there. We'll come up with who it is. But he got knocked down by Sweet Daddy Falcone. Now, Sweet Daddy really taking a shortcut there.
A little bit short of breath. And now, a couple chops to Sweet Daddy Falcone. Now the two big guys going at it.
This is what happens down on Pier 6, Craig, when two of them just go at it, and Randy Rhodes gets dropped by Sweet Daddy Falcone. Apparently his punch had just that little bit extra to drop the big man.
Count of one by referee James Beard, and two, the forehead. Goes Sweet Daddy Falcone now. I guess Sweet Daddy Falcone's a little late for lunch.
Now, what wrestling school do you go to learn that move? How many weeks of training does it take to learn how to bite somebody in the forehead?
Hamburger College, where you possibly go to learn that one. And that one came right out of the Mike Tyson School of Boxing.
Wow, what a chop. Sweet Daddy Falcone drops like a rock in the center of the ring. And we can't sell Randy Rhodes short. We talk about who he looks like and making fun of the guy, but doggone, if he's not a good wrestler, he just dropped Big Sweet Daddy right in the middle of the ring with that chop.
Trying to take some of the air, Sweet Daddy Falcone. If you can get the air out of the man, you can take a lot of energy out. That's exactly what Randy Rhodes is doing now to Sweet Daddy. Elbow to the top of the head. That's a little hard, apparently, according to Randy Rhodes.
Well, I'll tell you what, that elbow doesn't appear to be bionic because it hasn't dropped Sweet Daddy Falcone like that chop did earlier.
After our feature on Norman, we'll go to the news center. We'll have the fans' question as Bonnie Blackstone joins us. We'll see the Patriot in action against Stan Lane. Of course, his manager, Jim Cornette, at ringside. Sweet Daddy Falcone says Randy Rhodes down to the mat. Thinks he has it. Count of one, count of two. But Randy Rhodes somehow gets up. We will also see Phantasma against Wild Bill Irwin. Phantasma, one of the biggest stars of Lucha Libre in Mexico.
Can't wait to see Phantasma make his debut here in the Global Wrestling Federation, Craig. Lucha Libre, one of the great wrestling organizations in the world. Very, very exciting. It's going to be a great match later on today.
Bulldog by Randy Rhodes. You might say good night to Sweet Daddy. Good night, Sweet Daddy.
You might say that.
Let's get the official word.
And your winner of this first round match of the TV Tournament Championship Tournament is Hot Body Randy Rhodes.
Let's go to that event from Major League Wrestling. Norman visiting with his friend, Joe Pedicino.
Coming down to the ring is a man, he's looking a little bit different than I'm used to seeing him. Maybe we'll get an explanation. When we were in the NWA together, one of my best buddies, Norman, it's great to see you here in the Global Wrestling Federation.
First of all, I'm not your buddy, Pedicino, so shut up. I haven't been your buddy for a few months now. I'll tell you something. I got myself associated with the boss, and the boss told me one thing. He said, forget about Norman, forget about these...
Wait, Norman!
And forget about these snot-nosed people. I'll tell you something, I don't care. You know what? The Americans proved one thing to me several months ago. They got to go over to the Persian Gulf, take 500,000 soldiers and $10 million of my tax money to beat a country the size of Rhode Island. I'm not too proud of any of that, Pedicino. I'm not too proud of you.
Norman, I don't understand. Well, I mean, you used to bring out teddy bears, and all the kids would give you teddy bears, and when the kids found out you were going to be here tonight, there's got to be 100 teddy bears here for you tonight. I mean...
You know,
I'm in shock.
You take all 100 teddy bears and add them up, they add up to more IQ than is in this building, Pedicino. I don't need to worry about teddy bears. I don't need to worry about little kids running up and wiping their dirty nose on my pant legs anymore, and I don't need no more toys. The only toy I'm going to have is anybody that wants to climb in that ring with me. The boss told me to beat him and drag him around like a toy.
You keep talking about the boss. Who is this boss?
Once you like to know, Pedicino, you're always snooping around. You want to know everything. You'll know soon enough, Pedicino. After victory, after victory, after victory, and the boss gets happier and happier, and the money keeps coming in my pocket, then maybe I'll have to bring the boss out. Maybe give a roll of nickels to you, Pedicino, so you can buy a new tie.
Well, Norman, let me ask you a question. What is I don't understand the get-up. The new outfit. I don't understand it.
The get-up is one thing. I went back to my roots. I went back to the great Pakistan people of the world, and I dug back in my history, and the boss told me, you know something? Forget Norman. Your real name now is Mukka Singh. Mukka Singh. Can you remember that? And if you don't want to call me Mukka Singh, Pedicino, you can just call me the Great One.
All right, he's not Norman anymore. He's not the same old Norman I used to know. We'll be finding out more about the boss and about Mukka Singh in the weeks to come here on the Global Wrestling Federation. I'm in shock. I don't know.
Welcome to the Wrestling News Center, where we bring you up to date on what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And right now, the hottest topic, the GWF television title tournament. I understand you were privy to all the applications that came in.
Absolutely, Craig. I was back in the GWF offices for the last 2 or 3 months as we got ready to put the tournament together. Over 100 applications from some of the biggest names, not some of the biggest names, from the biggest names in professional wrestling, flooded into the GWF offices wanting to be a part of the tournament. They narrowed it down to 24. They had the first 12 matches put together from the top 24 names of it was more than 100, 125, 128 names came in. They picked the top 24, and they're going for the GWF television title.
Now, when you talk about some of the matchups, which you will be seeing all along the Supercard shows, you're talking about some of the premier, quite possibly main event matchups that people would go to see in any arena, but we've got 12 of them bang, bang, right in a row.
Absolutely. Not to sound like a member of the all-cliche team here, but any one of the first-round matches, a main event in any arena. That sounds like an old cliche, but if it's ever been true, it's been true of the GWF Television Championship Tournament. These are big names, big wrestlers, great wrestlers, and great matches. That's the cornerstone of the GWF, Craig.
Coming up next time on the Wrestling News Center, we'll be telling you a lot more about the tournament and also going into detail about the rules of the tournament. And also, will it become a situation where the guy who wins the coin flip turns into the automatic favorite? I know you have an opinion now. Tell us a little bit about it, then we'll get into detail next time.
We'll talk about the details of the tournament next week, but just remember this. When we talk about it next time, listen for the coin flip rules. That's going to be very important. He who wins the coin flip is going to be the odds-on favorite.
We'll have more news next time on the Wrestling News Center, a regular feature here on Supercard. We'll see you with more action when we return.
In the Global Dome, Bonnie Blackstone here with one of our great GWF fans. This is Tony. Tony, I know you've been very interested in Big Bully Busick. You wanted to ask Big Bully Busick a question that'll be answered a little bit later on. What was that question?
Yeah, I wanted to know, everybody knows that the hard punch is illegal. I wanted to know, why do he use it?
All right, later on in this edition, I will be speaking with Big Bully Busick, and I will be asking him Tony's question. And hopefully in this edition, Big Bully Busick will give us an answer.
The next match of the Global Wrestling Federation TV Championship Tournament. Now entering the ring from Euless, Texas, the Patriots.
champion, the gangster of love, Sweet Stan Lane.
Well, an interesting introduction by Jim Cornette.
Your insurance paid up, punk.
Oh, that voice.
Well, some color commentary, but interesting introduction by Jim Cornette. Said the next, did he say tag team? Is he looking over the television tournament?
I think he could be looking past the Patriot, and you've got to really do a lot of looking to look past this big fella. And he's looking past him to the tag team outfit here, and he's looking past that television championship belt. And this is what we're doing, Craig. This is the television championship tournament. This is a first-round match, a match that could sell out any arena. Sweet Stan Lane against the Patriot. Now, look at the size on this Patriot. This guy is massive. He's got to come in about 270, 280. He's what would you say? Maybe 6'4", 6'5", somewhere in there?
Actually, I have him down at 6'6", so it depends which roster you look at.
Wow. A very impressive figure in that ring, and Sweet Stan, no slouch himself in the build department. Sweet Stan probably about 6'1", 6'2".
The collar and elbow tie up, and the power of the Patriot sends Sweet Stan scurrying. Consulting with the mouth that roared.
Oh.
Jim Cornette. And there you see the Patriot. Stars and stripes. And you know that the blood in that man is not only red, but also white and blue.
Absolutely 100% USA. That's the Patriot.
And he was announced on this event as from Euless, Texas, but from what I understand, every single time he comes out to the ring, he uses a different hometown. Why? Not because he's trying to be a smart aleck, but because he feels his hometown is any town and every town in the good old U.S. of A.
Well, he is 100% American from the top of his mask to the bottom of his boots in there. He's the Patriot, but he's up against Stan Lane. Stan Lane has held almost every major tag team championship in the United States of America, but now he's in there by himself. He's been a tag team wrestler for the last 10 years, but now, for the first time probably in the last 10 years, he is absolutely in there without that tag team partner to tag off to, without anybody to rely on. If he gets on that mat and can't get up, he can't push his little button and call the people at the operator service. He's got to fight up himself. He can't tag out this time, and that may be a problem for Sweet Stan.
The Patriot really has Stan Lane in a quandary. Drop takedown, but back into the hammerlock by the Patriot. Jim Cornette with a few words to the fans.
Well, I'm going to correct you there just one second, Craig. I don't think Jim Cornette has a few words, period. He has a lot of them, and they're loud and obnoxious every time he opens his mouth.
Grabbing the mask of the Patriot is Stan Lane. Sends him in the rope. Leapfrog, arm drag, no, reversal by the Patriot. Ready to go, and Stan Lane says he wants timeout. And once and for all, would you ever tell a wrestler there's no timeout in professional wrestling? Not in the GWF, at least.
Well, I don't know of one wrestling organization where you can have a timeout, especially in the GWF. And Stan Lane is no rookie. He didn't just fall off the cabbage truck. He's been around long enough to know that you cannot call timeout, but he's of the opinion that it doesn't hurt to ask.
Well, Stan Lane trying to be a member of the debate team by trying to convince referee Sean O'Brien of a pull of the tights by the Patriot. Now into a top wrist lock, and speaking of pulling the tights, even if there's stars and stripes tights, those were pulled indeed by Sweet Stan, the gangster of love.
Now right there is a great singles wrestling move by Stan Lane, he said with tongue firmly in cheek. He just dove out of the ropes to keep the Patriot off of him. Boy, another one of those great wrestling school moves. Probably 3 or 4 weeks he spent learning that one.
Stan Lane, I think you're right, Scott, looking for a partner to tag to, but he's all by his lonesome. And now into a full Nelson. For some reason, I don't think this is going to work.
No way.
Look at the power of the Patriot as he comes down, gets rid of the full Nelson, says, all right, Sweet Stan, I'm ready for you. Bring it on, my friend. Oh, yeah, not quite. Fans tell you who won that one, and Stan Lane says, excuse me a moment, I need to go check with Jim Cornette.
Well, I don't know what Jim Cornette is going to do any good to Stan Lane. Jim Cornette's got the body of a pear and the brain of a pineapple.
No bodybuilding going on here as far as posing is concerned in the GWF, but I tell you, if there was a pose down, the winner of that one was the Patriot.
Absolutely no question about it. The Patriot, a massive man. You saw when Stan Lane had the Patriot in the full Nelson, you saw just the power in the chest, the shoulders, the upper arm development, the triceps, the biceps of the Patriot as he just broke out of that full Nelson, and Stan Lane thought he could intimidate this big fella.
Jim Cornette puts the foot of Stan Lane onto the ropes. The Patriot going out after the Louisville Slugger. Watch out. I'm worried about what could happen here. The Patriot says, excuse me, hello. Mr. Lane, Mr. Cornette, Mr. Cornette, Mr. Lane. Hello, Mr. Lane. The Patriot, big elbow, and down goes Sweet Stan. Don't look now. Here comes another. The Patriot freight train rolling until it's derailed.
Cornette from the outside grabbed the Patriot's leg, tripped him up. He went down. Stan Lane dropped the elbow to the back of the Patriot's head, and the Patriot is hurting from both ends, and there's a big kick to the midsection, and Stan Lane in charge now. Stan Lane savate kick to the big, massive, muscular chest of the Patriot, and I don't care how big your chest is, that's going to drop you. What has Lane got in his hand?
He unwrapped the tape from around his wrist, and now he's going to choke the life out of the Patriot as he's just got it wrapped around. The Patriot getting some of that air back that he lost from the choking by Sweet Stan Lane.
Well, that big neck, that big muscled-up body, the Patriot has to have air no matter how big it is, and Stan Lane cut that air off. And Cornette
with the tennis racket. According to him, that's 15 love.
Oh, boy. He can't find 15 people in this crowd that love him, and that's obvious from what we can hear from the crowd right now.
The Patriot draped over the top of the rope, and down comes Sweet Stan. Stan Lane vaults over, comes in, gets the clothesline. The Patriot in a bad way. A count of one, a count of two, but the Patriot comes alive.
Just barely 2 and 9/10 count there. The Patriot barely got that shoulder up, and Stan Lane really better watch it now because the Patriot's got those juices flowing.
The sunset flip! But where's the official? Count of one, count of two. Jim Cornette had the official distracted off screen. And now once again, Stan Lane going to the throat. The red, white, and blue taking a bit of punishment. And now, Cornette again. 30 love.
This is a handicap match in the first round of the television title tournament, Craig. It's the Patriot versus Stan Lane and Jim Cornette. He's against 3 men. He's got to fight the racket, too. It's the Patriot against 3 people. Lane, Cornette, the racket. Can he do it? Can he defeat all 3?
Obviously, Jim Cornette going after the title of one of the big summer movies, The Racketeer.
Oh, my goodness.
Trading blows. Stan Lane and the Patriot. The Patriot coming with a big left from the West Coast.
That'll take a big man down right there anytime. The old thumb to the eye, and the Patriot is thrown into the corner. Lane comes in, he misses.
In the corner, Sweet Stan, the Patriot, really pumping himself up. To the ropes, elbow by the Patriot. What an impressive wrestler, and the Patriot, big clothesline. The fans absolutely loving the man in red, white, and blue. To the ropes again. Big drop kick.
A man who is 6'6", 280, up into the air for the big drop kick, but Lane barely gets that foot on the rope. You've got to be impressed with the Patriot.
Lane sends him in.
Cornette.
Advantage Cornette. As he and Stan Lane seem to think that this is match point.
Oh, this is horrible. Jim Cornette just waylaid the Patriot from behind with that racket.
No! You were talking about 2 and 9/10. How about 2.99 there?
Oh,
my goodness, it was too close. The Patriot barely out of it. Lane, oh, we can't get him up.
Oh, Cornette goes down. Roll up 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The red, white, and blue coming through. Coming up, we're going to hear what Cornette and Lane have to say, plus Bonnie Blackstone with the answer to the fans' question when we return.
What are you trying to pull up here, huh? First of all, you got a dadgum ringer referee in there. That guy doesn't have a license. He has never been licensed as a referee. Next of all, you bring this guy in here. We told you we wanted top competition.
I think you got it, pal.
The Global Wrestling Federation picked that guy. It's all part of a plot to try to embarrass us. It was a setup guy. That guy was a world karate champion under a mask. That's what it had to be. He was a ringer.
I'd like to know what you were doing standing there and why you headbutted me and cost me that match. Oh, problems in paradise. All right. Obviously, some problems with Stanley.
Okay, everything's all taken care of. Stan's just a little upset. Global Wrestling Federation picked that opponent for us, and I'm going to lodge an official protest as soon as I can figure out just who the heck to
Excuse us, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah.
Oh, some problems in paradise with Jim Cornette.
Earlier, one of our wrestling fans was asking what all wrestling fans viewing the GWF wants to know. Why this man, Big Bully Busick, continues to use a heart punch, although you label your heart punch a bully blaster.
It's very simple, Bonnie Blackstone. A lot like my cigars, you are one of the most talented people around the Global Wrestling Federation. And as this federation starts, the Global Wrestling Federation, you people see what kind of talent is out here. You have the best. And yet, with all your knowledge, Bonnie Blackstone, has anybody filed a protest against the Bully Blaster?
It's a heart punch.
It's rumors like that you cause that call this the Bully Blaster and the Global Wrestling Federation.
You can call it what you want to, but I think our wrestling fans are educated enough to know it is a blatant heart punch, and we'll have more on this subject here in the
And
GWF.
another thing, Bonnie Blackstone,
not another
you
thing.
listen to
We're
what I
going right
gotta
now
say.
to a break.
Just a second, I'm not done.
Phantasma, absolutely a high flyer in the truest sense of the word. The Lucha Libre from Mexico. The translation of Lucha Libre, not literal, but pretty much on the money there, is an out-of-control fight. Lucha, fight, Libre, out of control. There you go. This is absolutely going to be an out-of-control fight here with Wild Bill Irwin.
Oh, yes, Wild Bill Irwin misses without Phantasma. Drop kick right off the bat. 2 times. Make it. Oh, I thought he was going to make it numero tres there.
Oh, my goodness. Muy bien, español.
Gracias.
People are going, what in the world happened to this? They think they've turned into Galavision here, Craig. I'm afraid not. Wild Bill Irwin, a veteran. He has been around the horn numerous times all over the country, all over the world. There's 2. Oh, almost 3 as Phantasma almost into the showers early.
Wild Bill Irwin, a big man. Talk about titles that this man has held. The NWA Tag Team title, the World Class Television title, the UWF Tag Team titles, the Canada Tag Team titles, and the Texas Heavyweight title. It's just a title list for a man who has just been one of the best professionals, but a man who you have to admit is one of the roughest professionals in the sport of wrestling.
Oh, they don't come any tougher than Wild Bill Irwin. Of course, Wild Bill Irwin, one half of the famous Long Riders team with his brother, the late Scott Hogg Irwin. Bill Irwin takes no quarter, and he gives no quarter, as one of our illustrious friends in this business once said. Bill Irwin probably doesn't have a quarter to give, but he doesn't care. He doesn't wrestle for money. He wrestles to hurt people, and you got to admire that in somebody. He doesn't live in a big, nice house, but he's blackened a few eyes in his day.
And these days, what can you get for a quarter anyway? There's Wild Bill Irwin getting the best of the Mexican superstar, but Phantasma says, okay, enough is enough. Not saying no mas, but says, I'm ready for you again. But once again, Wild Bill Irwin with a snapmare. 14 years in professional wrestling, ever since 1977 when his first match took place back in Lynchburg, Virginia. Phantasma from Mexico City, or for some of our fans, Mexico City.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, this
Taking the worst of Wild Bill Irwin. You didn't realize that I went and took my Berlitz course a little bit earlier tonight.
It sounds like you took a Berlitz pill over there or something, I think. This is amazing, Craig. This is like Hooked on Phonics gone bad over there. But let's talk about Phantasma for 1 second. The people not familiar with Lucha Libre, it's all off the top rope, out of the ring, over the top rope, back into the ring, onto the mat, into the chairs, into the dressing room, into the concession stands with mustard, ketchup, all sorts of condiments. It's a wild type of wrestling they have down in Mexico, and Phantasma is the best they have to offer, and he's here in the Global Wrestling Federation.
But unfortunately, he's met a man much bigger than he is, admittedly, and arguably maybe much tougher. Phantasma used to the high-flying moves, the quick moves, but having problems with a man who's just a brawling style. You talked about out of control. Wild Bill Irwin, that's the name.
He is absolutely libre in that ring. And we see how Wild Bill Irwin is just a little bit bigger than Phantasma, but in the Lucha Libre Mexican-style wrestling, Phantasma is a monster. He's a big guy. He's tall. He's much more muscular. He's much more defined. He's thicker. He's bigger. So he's used to wrestling people. He can bounce around like a rag, and he's in there with Irwin, who can't. He's having trouble picking up.
Count of two, but Phantasma getting up, and 1-2 again.
You know, Craig, he may have had him that first time. He just kind of nonchalantly laid across him and held his hand up to count the pin, and he only got two. Maybe a legal textbook cover would have had Phantasma down for the 3 count.
The television championship open to all comers as far as the weight limit is concerned. Phantasma could be considered one of the favorites for the light heavyweight championship, a tournament coming up. But right now, it's the heavyweight Bill Irwin with a count of 2 and almost a count of 3. I think he thought he had the Mexican man down south of the border for the count.
He can think all he wants, but he sure cannot put Phantasma down with covers like that. You're going to have to hook the leg, hook the arm, hook the neck, do something to keep him being able to kick out like he's been doing, because Phantasma, it did not just fall off the wrestling truck and fall into the Global Wrestling Federation. He is an accomplished star in wrestling. He cannot just come in here and expect to destroy Bill Irwin, but likewise Bill Irwin cannot come in and expect to roll over this guy like he was Sunday dinner.
Now you see Phantasma complaining to referee James Beard, but the question is, does James Beard understand a word he says, having to use the sign language? And there's the drop kick from Phantasma. Phantasma says, okay, I'm taking my rest, time to go to business. It's the big hip toss.
And Bill Irwin's got some big hips, I don't mind telling you. Phantasma, the purple man, the royal one. And now he's going to beg off from Phantasma. Phantasma not giving him just the least little bit of mercy, but oh, Irwin catches him. A low blow there. If it wasn't low, it was ground level.
Pretty close. And now, trying to see if he can knock some bad vision into Phantasma is Wild Bill Irwin. Going after the masked man from Mexico, and you're talking about, when you talk about Mexican wrestling, the mask, the source of pride for all Mexican wrestlers, and that's a source of pride right there. Watch out! Phantasma looking for Wild Bill Irwin. Don't look now. There he goes.
Oh, my goodness.
A flying cross-body block over the top rope.
What a move by Phantasma. That may have hurt Phantasma worse than it hurt Bill Irwin, but neither one of those guys are getting up. Referee James Beard counting both men out of the ring now. One of them needs to get back into the ring to beat this count, but Phantasma with that beautiful high cross body outside of the ring from inside of the ring. What a move, Craig.
Phantasma breaking the count unintentionally by being close to the rope. Phantasma gets him with a flying forearm. Unos, dos, but not a count of 3.
Oh, boy.
Phantasma now with the best of Wild Bill. Watch out. Bill almost meeting the turnbuckle. He's got the whip in his hand. Phantasma gets the whip into the midsection. Bill Irwin turning the tide.
They don't have whips in Lucha Libre, Craig. I don't think Phantasma's ever had to deal with anything like that as Bill Irwin introduces that foreign object into the ring, and Phantasma now being had at the hands of Bill Irwin.
Thank you for not saying the global object.
Oh.
There's the gut-wrench suplex. Count of 1, count of 2, count of 3. Bill Irwin gets it.
He's going to advance in this tournament, Craig.
Wow, Bill Irwin!
Wrestling fans, I am here with the man in red, white, and blue that has all of the wrestling world talking. He's called the Patriot, and everybody's wanting to know who he is, where he's from, where did this body come from. But, Patriot, I understand that for some reason you have decided to keep your identity hidden.
Well, I certainly have, but as far as where I come from, I'm not going to keep that hidden. I come from everywhere, Joe. I'm all over this country, and it's more than just a tangible object. It's more than just something you can reach out and touch. It's also a spirit of pride and a spirit of patriotism that I represent the American people.
Well, this masked man, as we said, has absolutely taken the wrestling world by storm. One of the things that everyone is talking about is this Patriot's missile, this shoulder and this elbow, and it's like we never know where it's coming from, but it always comes off the top rope. So far, it's been very good for you here in the Global Wrestling Federation.
Well, it certainly has, and just like in the war in the Middle East, just like Operation Desert Storm, when we sent those Patriot missiles up to intercept those Scuds from the enemy, that's exactly where I'm coming from, and that's what my Patriot missile is all about, to take down the enemy whenever I possibly have to.
That's the Patriot here in the GWF.
What a fast start we've had to the Television Championship Tournament. Billy Black a winner.
Billy Black, a very impressive victory in our first match today. He is the Georgia All-Star Television Champion. He's well on his way to being the Global Television Champion too, Craig.
And what about that match between the Patriot and Stan Lane? A little bit of hostility between Lane and his manager, the Louisville Slugger.
Well, thank goodness that's yesterday's news. Today's news, the Patriot advances in the tournament.
And Wild Bill Irwin in possibly an upset over Phantasma.
Absolutely, Bill Irwin, that experience showing through over the high-flying maneuvers of Phantasma. Bill Irwin goes ahead in our tournament.
How about Norman, although I can't call him that, it's now Muckin Singh.
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be used to saying that. We've known him as Norman for so long, fans. Now he claims to be Muckin Singh or whatever they call him. That sounds like something you do in church. I'm not awfully sure about that, but Muckin Singh, a force to be reckoned with in the Global Wrestling Federation.
We will see the wild man from Pakistan, Muckin Singh, here next week. On our next edition. Also, Rip Rogers in action. He says, the boss says he's got to win this tournament.
The boss, and we cannot figure out who the boss is. He's guiding Muckin Singh, he's guiding Rip Rogers. Who else is he guiding, Greg? You have no idea.
More first